Let's climb that mountain together, because bullying can be prevented with positivity. This is John Pendel, and this is my Module 10 assignment for AEP 880. One of the best ways to prevent bullying behavior is to have school be a positive place. So what makes the school a positive place? Well, we can start by believing in our students. We need to believe in them and let them know that we believe in their abilities to achieve. We need to treat them equally, because we can start to erase the effects of sexism and racism and gender stereotyping and all the things that will limit their achievements. The best way to do this is to have positive personal relationships with them, to know them by name, and to let them know that they've got somebody on their side and that we believe that we can all do it together. Another great aspect of a positive place is a thing called universal design, and that means that the classroom doesn't have to be set up in rows and be a rigid, sterile environment. It can be comfortable. There can be rugs and comfortable chairs, and there can be little places where kids can take a time out and just kind of chill out and relax and come back to the learning setting refreshed and ready. It's important that our standards are well known and agreed upon. It's important that everybody knows how to behave and how they should treat each other, because everybody wants to be treated well. The problems can be solved together, so it's important that everybody agrees on this stuff, because this really is universal. I mean, everybody wants to be treated well, and everybody knows how to treat each other well. They just have to be encouraged to do so. Feeling good is the best motivator, and that's true. When everybody feels good, they learn good, and it's the best way to move forward. Nobody wants to be sad. Everybody wants to be happy. So we're all capable of doing that, and it's all important that we find a way to do that together. As a small personal aside, I have a family member that was both a cadet and an instructor at West Point. I think we all probably know that West Point is the Army Academy and is incredibly hard to get into. Most students there need a congressional recommendation, I understand. These are people that are at the top of their game in high school, which is pretty rare. But as an instructor, he told me that on the first day of school, all instructors are required to know the name and photo of their students. So when they walk into their classroom for the very first time, one by one, they are greeted by name. And that's just a great way, it was a great example to show respect to that student, because honestly, these kids are going to be presidents and CEOs and generals, and these are people that are high achieving individuals, and it's just a great way to show them respect and that you know who they are and you recognize their potential. It's a great example. I don't know how possible that is for the average school teacher, but it's just a great example of respecting that individual and recognizing their potential and being the leader that gets them there. So one of the biggest threats to our positive school environment that we're trying to make is bullying. It's an enormous obstacle to self-esteem for kids. Bullying, to define it, is the unwanted aggressive behavior among school children, and it involves a real or perceived power imbalance. And I think that really sums it up. It usually involves the bully who is bigger or stronger or more assertive, and it involves the victim who is smaller and doesn't feel good standing up for himself and might be suffering from poor self-esteem anyway. It can be an indicator of other problem behaviors such as fighting, theft, and vandalism, because bullies are usually misbehaving in many ways, and bullying is usually just one of them. It's important to save the bully from being a bully, because it's going to end up badly for them. Fighting, theft, and vandalism as an adult they're all things that will get you in prison. So, the outlook for bullies is very bad. It's not something we should accommodate in any way. It's easily underestimated because it is not always reported. I can remember being bullied as a child to a relatively small degree. I certainly didn't want to talk about it. I wasn't proud of it. I was ashamed of it. And I wished it would just go away magically, Some of the warning signs for victims can be loss of sleep, declining grades, and changes in eating. As it gets worse, there can be unexplainable injuries and a loss of interest in school. There can be destroyed personal items and decreased self-esteem. It really is a lot for the victim to bear. And as a young child, it's just very, very difficult, and it just really destroys their self-esteem, and it's really a tough load to carry. So we need to do the best we can to eliminate bullying for everyone involved. Statistics show that the most common types of bullying are name-calling and teasing and spreading rumors. But around 30% of kids report being pushed, shoved, being hit, or slapped or kicked. That's 1 in 3 kids that's receiving physical abuse from somebody else at school. That's unacceptable. Some of the most common locations for bullying are in the classway or the hallway, the cafeteria, or in a classroom like gym or physical education class. I wouldn't think it, but the bathroom and outside the school areas are relatively rare, statistically speaking. I think there might be a vision of a basement or a dark location where there's no supervision at all. But it's both heartening and disheartening to realize that this is happening right in front of us in the classroom, in the hallway, in the cafeteria. These are places where teachers need to be, and they usually are stationed there watching over and making sure, and that we just need to put the extra attention into their interactions and to make sure that nobody's being victimized. So what can be done by students? Well, for starters, when students feel safe, respected, and appreciated, there's a lot less opportunity for bad behaviors. One of the great things that kids can get involved in school is band groups, chorus groups, sports teams, or volunteering. And it's very important to their self-esteem when they get together and they're part of a group. They recognize that there are other kids that are just like them with similar interests and similar skills, and they won't feel so much alone. It's important for kids to build bonds with other kids so that they feel more secure, and it increases their own self-esteem. Also, kids need to recognize inappropriate behavior and report it, and their peers need to support them. Because I think we're all familiar with the idea of a bully, but you got to recognize that there's usually a group of kids around that are not doing anything to help the victim, and maybe they're just happy that they're not the victim, or maybe they're apprentice bullies themselves. But it really is a group behavior. There's the bully and there's the victim, but there's also other kids around, and those other kids can be part of the solution as well. And if you're surrounded by peers that are part of an interest group that you're a part of, you're much more likely to have support when you need it and when it comes time. What can be done by teachers? Plenty. For starters, we should be treating everybody with kindness and respect. We want to be the example. We want to show the kids who we want them to be, and we want to be this person ourselves for our own reasons. It's important that there are clearly defined standards for behavior. As I said earlier in this presentation, teachers and students need to get together and have a common discussion about what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of these things are obvious because everybody wants to be treated well, but it's just helpful to put them into words and let everybody know that we're all on the same page and that we have to agree. When those standards are breached, we need to take immediate action. It's important that we don't let it go. We don't hope for something better. We need to address it. We need to make an example of it and let everybody know that it's wrong. We can do this by bringing bullying to the foreground of discussion with videos and classroom talks, so that everybody understands what bullying behavior is, why it's wrong, and what not to do. When it does happen, there needs to be a designated response team with a point person who is enabled and empowered to intervene, who has experience in this kind of thing, and that can talk to both the bully and the victim. These people need to be stationed in the problem locations and pay special attention to these zones, such as the classroom, the hallway, the cafeteria. This is where these people need to be stationed so that they can monitor students' behavior and intervene in a cool, calm, collected way when it does happen, and steer the students in the right direction. It's also important that we engage with the community and the parents in preventing bullying behavior, because they could be learning a lot of this stuff at home, quite honestly. There's plenty of men in our society that want to be tough, and they might be encouraging their child to be a bully, whether wittingly or unwittingly. These parents need to know that we're all on the same team, that kids have a chance to be friendly, and that we need to encourage them. It's really important. So yes, there is a mountain to climb. It's a big mountain, but we can do it. And when we all get to the top, we can enjoy the view together. It's important to remember, I think the biggest thing is just to be a positive force and have the school be a positive place for kids. Because honestly, in a lot of places, it might be the most positive place in their life. So we can really harness that opportunity to drive kids forward, to show them that they can in fact achieve and that they can make a difference, and that education is the best way to do that. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you enjoy your class. And good luck to everybody and everything you do. These are my references. Because I didn't do it by myself, I had a lot of help. All right, that's it. Thank you. Have a great day.